What's happening, everyone? Welcome back, and if it's your first time here, just plain welcome. Someone needs to keep Democrats away from any, cameras. I mean, probably not even photographic equipment, because holy shit have they stepped in it this week. Let's start with the fact that a bunch of members of Congress released a video Tuesday before President Trump spoke to a joint session of Congress. Now, a bunch of them releasing a video that hits key talking points, that's no big deal. I can see that happening. I can see it being a thing. The problem is this wasn't a rehash of the same talking points. It was literally the same script. The exact same script. Right? Every freaking one of them used the same script. Then during the speech, you may have seen Congressman Al Green just basically make a royal ass of himself. He was asked multiple times to take a seat, settle down, let speech continue, and he didn't until he had to actually be ejected from the chamber. That was pretty bad. But that was just one member of Congress. The others were holding up signs. They were it was kind of passive aggressive, I guess, but it wasn't overly disruptive. Unsurprisingly, earlier today, a vote was held to censure Green. Every Republican voted in favor of censure, if I remember correctly. 10 Democrats crossed the aisle to side with Republicans on the censure vote. Good for them. And the rest of them, they did this. Now understand, We Shall Overcome is a gospel song that was very closely associated with the civil rights movement in the 1960s. It was very, very popular among civil rights activists. It was sung a lot of places, and it's actually connected in a lot of people's minds with the civil rights movement, even though the origins are not in that movement. So why were they singing it? Now, only thing I can actually determine is they somehow think this is a travesty. This is an act of oppression, that by censoring Green, you're engaging in some kind of racial, again, oppression, right? But it's interesting because I do recall a previous lawmaker who was censured. Until 2009, Joe Wilson, a Republican, was censured when he used 2 words during a speech by President Obama, also in front of a joint session of Congress. He said, "You lie." Now, after the speech was over, Wilson apologized to Obama. Obama accepted the apology, and yet he was still censured. That one was pretty much a straight party line vote. Democrats voted to censure him. Republicans voted against it. And it was the end of things. Censure really doesn't mean a lot. It's just more of a naughty boy kind of thing. But these were 2 words, right? Wilson said his piece and then shut the hell up. It was still an outburst, and I'm not going to make light of the fact that there was a censure. I'm not going to suggest that he didn't do anything to disrupt the occasion. Democrats were all over it. It was unconscionable that someone would act that way in Congress. Green took that incident, ramped it up to 11, and their response is to sing "We Shall Overcome" as if he's being oppressed. Yeah. And honestly, if that was it, that would have been enough. It was bad enough. It's a bad enough week as far as cameras are involved with Democrats as a whole. But this next one, holy shit. You've got to see this. It is probably the dumbest thing I've seen all week, and that's saying something. Let's watch. Let's watch it. Use your Now, rewatching this here, I think I see the hidden genius here. Because one of the problems Democrats had in the last election was that, obviously more Republicans turned out to vote than, Republican supporters turned out to vote than Democrat supporters. That includes independents who are leaning one way or another. But this looks like it's designed to potentially kill anyone on the right leaning side of things with sheer absolute cringe. Holy shit, this is laughable. Obviously, none of these members of Congress, these ladies, know anything about fighting. And I do mean fist fighting. They probably have their battles, and that's fine. But they don't know anything about martial arts, combat, anything like that, apparently. Not hand-to-hand combat, at least. And so they're doing these choose your fighter like an opening screen on a video game, not knowing quite what the hell they're doing, looking absolutely ridiculous in the process. And why? I'm trying to understand what they're trying to accomplish here. Because during the Gamergate controversy a few years ago, people like this, left-leaning women especially, accuse your average gamer of being misogynistic pricks. Now, everyone's entitled to their opinion, even if it's wrong, and trust me, I know way too many gamers, they are not. There are some absolute mouth breathers who play video games, sure. And a lot of them will say stuff to get rise out of other players just because they're trying to be edgy. I get it. I really do. But they're not misogynists. And yet, they were accused of it. And that's the same demographic that would absolutely be the most likely to respond to something like this. Now, I get the Democrats are trying to woo those younger male voters because they've completely missed them. That's part of why they actually lean on people like David Hogg and Harry Sisson. I don't actually know how to pronounce that screaming wanker's last name, and I don't actually give a shit to look it up. But you know who the hell I'm talking about. They've been leaning on those. This may be trying to lean on that, or trying to reach gamer girls who, they do exist, sure. But it's stupid. It's bad. It is absolutely a terrible idea. I don't know who came up with this and said, let's make this work. Let's use this. Let's release this out into the world on purpose, right? They released this on purpose. They thought it was a good idea. Holy crap, folks. At this point, they just need to, stay way the hell away from pretty much anything that involves a camera because it ain't working out well for them. But I want to know what you have to think about all this. Go down in the comments. Let me know. Tell me if you agree with something, if you think it wasn't that bad, or what. I want to hear from you. While you're down there, hit like, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that jazz. Everything helps a channel get some more reach. Share it where it's applicable, and I would appreciate that a great deal. And on that note, and in the meantime, I'm going to wrap it up, and I will catch you all in the next video.